bada bing, bada boom. We're rolling. Mr. Zemba, round 2.
Evening.
Round number 2. So we had a little bit of technical difficulties the first time around. We tried to do this,
It's a little bit bumpy, pun intended.
We ride with, Mr. Murphy came in to help out as well, but I at least have his picks. So we had some technical difficulties there as we get in and
picks are in.
The officially unofficial Mogul World Cup preview for the year. So it was a lot of fun when we got together a few days ago, and it should be fun to kind of go through and a little bit more trimmed down, I would say, this time around, probably.
Yeah, it was nice getting to meet up with you gentlemen the other evening, and even better to do it again. It's all we ever talk about when we hang out anyway, so why not just keep the conversation rolling?
Absolutely. And it's kind of been interesting, one of the things that has been pretty crazy this year just with COVID and how they've had to kind of change around a lot of people's training. And, Australia is the first one that kind of comes to mind about how they were able to get some, I would say, had a pretty good advantage in the summer being able to go down and train at home. And then as far as fall kind of went, they got their new water ramp facility and all that stuff set up down there. So I feel like that makes life a little bit easier for them. But I mean, it's going to be so weird. A lot of nations were not able to get that fall training, right?
Yeah, we were one of them. You think just from talking to some people, they had some great summer training. They were able to hone in on some stuff. But that's definitely going to be a hurdle to jump, but a hurdle that a lot of different countries had to face. Some countries were more fortunate than others and able to get on snow in Europe, and like you were mentioning earlier, Australia. But who knows? Maybe it's a good thing. Just kind of hone in on a couple parts of the craft, and then everyone's been back at it, 6 weeks now, kind of over in Europe doing their bubble training, and everything gets rocking and rolling this weekend officially. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, I think it's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? Is it going to be refreshing, do you think, for some of the athletes that maybe got a little bit more of a break, a little bit more of like a, hey, you don't need to worry about constantly being on snow. You don't really have an option. So you're going to make the best with what you can at the time. Or do you think it's going to kind of jack up some of those injuries and make people kind of press and stuff like that? Like, I think it's going to be kind of a little bit more refreshing for them just to be able to, all right, we have a little bit more time to maybe not think about mogul skiing and kind of get a little bit refreshed into the season.
No, I'd agree. I think some athletes for sure are going to be a little bit more charged up, and the flow is a little bit better. I know you and I have been in the situation where you go to Zermatt and you're leave last day of Vermont, you're comp ready, and then you come home, and the U.S. isn't quite ready to have full courses yet. You're searching around that month of December, so I think the flow will help. Certainly, a lot of athletes get prepped for this upcoming World Cup season. But definitely, you do linger a little bit in the back of your mind of, oh well, maybe if I had this time on snow, would be ready to go. But at the end of the day, you show up with your best of what you got in your package, and you go from there. But I think the flow will help. I think a little bit that's Zermatt camp too. Some of those early season European options are definitely tough on the body. So I think maybe a little bit more rest going into the season, never a bad thing. Be a little bit more refreshed and charged up.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it'll be interesting to see how many stops they're kind of able to complete on the schedule here as we go down. I got one kind of warm-up event out of the way over in Sweden where they kind of were able to work out a lot of the kinks, which were really good. They were able to go through and kind of test some of the new judging. And because there's I think there was 12 judges, so some were remote, and then
we did have our first remote judges. Yeah.
So I was interested at Sweden Moguls. Thank you for that live stream, because it was nice to be able to watch the wife get to ski it in the morning. Keep myself up.
Yeah, who the hell is Avatar Carol?
Exactly.
Oh.
No, it was really nice, and I'm curious how much that's going to kind of play into it, because you'll have some judges that are not there, and getting that remote perspective, I feel like will be and I know even looking at some of the score sheets, there were some that some of the judges weren't able to score. Some of the, I think it was Sabrina Cass or something maybe that had one of her runs where they couldn't really come up with a score for a while.
Oh yeah, I do recall there being bit of delay. Troy was actually kind of the go-to on this. He had the inside scoop. But yeah, we shall see. There will definitely be some growing pains with technology and maybe some delay. Who knows if you have something cut out, you just go on the judges that are there, or the lag time of watching a recorded event versus being there, not necessarily recorded, but a live streamed event, and a little bit of lag time versus the judges that are there. But I think it's good. We all have to make accommodations in this world we're living in right now, and the fact that they're still coming up with ways to get these events off is most important, other than obviously athlete and coach safety. But no, it should be interesting. It's going to be remote judges, yes. In terms of who knows, we were talking about with Murphy a little bit the idea of kind of AI judges. That's a whole different other rabbit hole.
Yeah, he was touching on that a little bit, that they were potentially using that for some of the aerials, which would be that'll be pretty interesting to see what kind of unfolds there for sure. But I don't know. They say that there's kind of not that bias with the judges, and over all the events we've been to and everything. I mean, that's hard. A judge pays attention to a name, and I know they tried to change it up with the bibs and with all those different things, but at the end of the day, maybe it'll help if you are a little bit remote for some of those judges and kind of pull something a little bit away there. I don't know. I guess we'll kind of have to figure out how that.
Just hope they're investing in generators and in the little bit more pricier modem, right? Like.
The stream definitely came a long way from
the Euro Tour days, right?
Yeah, I remember like, oh, Sam, you guys will be able to watch. It'll be great. We'll have a little stream going. Selections, whatever else. Not even like one.
Always.
Oh, it's out.
It's out, or like, and next up, Bobby Carroll in the gate and cut out, or like 10 people later. Yeah, you always open up your backpack full of text messages. What happened? How'd it go? So hopefully we're not having any athletes text the judge. So what was my score? Like, we'll wait and see. But yeah, back to, I guess, that AI thing, that is crazy with aerials, and who knows how far along that technology is, and just the human element that's taken out of it. We talked about it a little bit. It's just a whole nother ball game of what to be discussed in coaches meetings. What algorithm or formula are they using to come up with certain scores? Like, who knows? But that's all just speculation. We'll see what comes of it.
Yeah, and I haven't heard anything like of them doing that at all on the mogul front yet.
No, that's all just coming from Troy, hearing about it in aerials. But I mean, kind of like in baseball, you hear about the electronic and umpires and strike zones. So they're trying it one place. I'm sure they're eyeing and trying it other places.
They're tinkering.
Yes.
Innovation. It's not a bad thing.
No. Look at this.
Look at this. Exactly. Probably first World Cup preview, I would say, podcast.
I know.
I think. I'm claiming it.
Mogul Nerds on a Monday night.
Nerds, here we go.
Mogul Nerd Monday. We could start. Get the t-shirts going.
Oh yeah. So stops. They start there in Ruka, and they get the single there. Then they bounce back to Idefjord, Sweden. So you get a single and a duel, and then it's going to be Calgary, and that's the one that's like a total question mark that I don't know if they're going to be able to pull it off. They're supposed to do 2 singles there, but if they're not doing like NBA events and that one, I think it's going to be a potential to not happen. I don't know.
I was in terms of over under. I'd take the over that it happens. Under that it doesn't. I'd take the under on it not happening. Unfortunately, I mean, continue to rise here in North America with cases, and like they're not letting professional sports, like, who knows with hockey, right? Hockey has a whole different set of rules, but in terms of NBA, they're not letting any teams in. I think the NBA team's opening up in Tampa, so if they're not letting money-making sports in, it's tough to be. Moguls, come on in, but hopefully by then things are a little bit more the curve's a little bit flatter, but everything else on there, we know that the European ones seem to be good to go. Seem to be a lock. Everyone's over there. Everything seems to be safe. And
yeah, knock on wood so far. I mean, all the testing and everything they've
yeah,
done, and like I said, knock on wood, it seems like that's all good.
it's a toss-up.
I think Deer Valley, I think will happen. I don't know. I feel like the U.S. is a little bit more lax, and a vaccine. We'll see if we're able to get as that kind of comes. It's gonna be interesting.
I think it would happen. The athletes love that one, but at the same time, even if it is on the schedule, who knows if any athlete kind of sees how things are going here stateside and kind of decides like, I don't know if I want to travel on down to the U.S. and travel, let alone to Utah, and risk just competing in an event when you have the rest of the season. You'd head to Japan and then to China for world champs.
And also,
or vice versa, China.
Right?
Yeah.
If their governing bodies are like, Australia, like, oh yeah, you can go to America, and then like, nope, you can't come home though. If
we see it, right? That Deer Valley one, while it's everyone's, I mean, obviously our favorite. It is that kind of one on the schedule right now. What we're seeing with the NFL and college football, like, yeah, it's on there, but should it be on there? Should it happen? But we'll wait and see. Definitely won't be the raucous crowds or the I'm sure they'll still demand the tent, right? If I was an athlete, I'd still want that Deer Valley turkey, Deer Valley turkey chili. But yeah, well, fingers crossed. We as the mogul skiing community, we get that, because that's always fun.
And then after the first two, Ruka and Interfall, the one that I think is most likely to happen has got to be World Champs in China, because it's the test event for the Olympics. So I think if there's one where come hell or high water, they're definitely going to make it happen. It's got to be that.
Correct. Yeah, they've had events up the street there at Taiwu for a number of seasons now, but haven't yet been down the street to Secret Garden, which is kind of funny. We always say, oh, the aerials team is competing, the half pipe team's competing. We're always looking around like, where? Like, the only thing here is this side mountain with a mogul hill, but they are making their way down the street. And yeah, it's almost imperative they get that test event off with the Olympics looming next season. Crazy.
It is crazy to think that it'll be next year. Then after that, Tazawako in Japan, which will be a single duel. You can pretty much peg Brad Wilson on the podium there.
Yeah, right.
What does in Japan is get on the podium, so that pencil that one in.
Sushi podium. That's it.
And then a little Kazakhstan to finish the season. How many Kazakhstan? That'll be pretty.
Yeah, unfortunately, yep. Russia was already canceled, but
And then the other one in China, they canceled one in China too. So Russia.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting. The one in Russia that they canceled, they're still planning on holding Junior World Championships there.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
That's still on the schedule, but I'm assuming that that's going to get canceled as well for the. I mean, it's interesting. Like, how are you going to let like 7?
How do you justify one event? Yeah.
Everything else for Junior World Championships, but
yeah,
it's on there.
It's on there.
It's on there at least. So, kind of going at last year's standings. You had Mick, Akuma, Ben Cavett, Dimitri Reihard, Matty Graham, Laurent Dumais, Walter Wahlberg, Sasha on there, Oscar and Felix, brothers, holding down the fort in the top 10. And then on the women's side, you had Perrine, Jakara, Jaylyn Koff, Justine, Hannah Soar, Yulia, and then 7. Ooh, this is going to be brutal. I'm going to butcher some of these names. So
All right. Yeah.
Both from Japan. So Ari.
I was about to say, where's the Japan? There's the Japanese women's team there. They're strong.
7 and 8. So what's the other? Kasira Sumayushi, looks like. And then 9th was Anastasia Samarova, and then 10th was Tess Johnson. So kind of give you a little idea of last year's
some of the players.
And then I know one of the big things Mick's going for this year is supposedly he will get his 10th if he wins this year. It'll be and he wins the overall. It'll be the 10th globe of any discipline, which is going to tie Connie Kissling from Switzerland for the most of any discipline. And then they said on there, because I was reading FIS's kind of preview, and they were saying that if he wins, he would tie Donald Weinbrecht for 45 wins. And if he gets a few podia, I think it was like 4 or 5 podiums, he would tie her for most podiums. But I'm pretty sure that's wrong. I think Ernie's got 46 wins and 71 podiums. So I feel like put that in there as like the most. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure HK's got that on lock. When I was checking that out, I was like, but I could be wrong.
I have to fact check that. Yeah.
I think that current HK, I think, has the most wins. So
I have to fact check that. But regardless, that'd be a huge accomplishment for Mick. It is crazy to think 10 years or 10 globes. I mean, can easily go back to some of those early 2010s, 11s, 12s when we were still skiing against him, and to think he's already got 10 globes on his shelf is crazy. Time flies.
Absolutely.
But every single one earned for sure.
Oh yeah. No, I remember the first time I competed against Mick, I think was like 2010 NORAM finals at Steamboat. And I think that's like the last event he did before he got called up.
Yeah.
He did maybe even the first day. I don't even know if he did the second day.
No, he did duels. Yeah.
He did both days. He did duels.
He did do duels. Yeah.
You got a smile on your face. Why?
He did do duels. We did duel. And I always joke with him when I see him, like, a career 1-0 record against Mick, only because he blew up on the bottom air. no fault. Yeah, it wasn't my sweet scheme by any means, but yeah, I know that was it, and then the rest is history. Off he went.
Off he went. Off to the races. Yeah, no, it's been crazy to watch, and I mean, last year he had such an incredible year. It's going to be interesting to see if anybody's going to be able to kind of knock him off the pedestal. But that's why we're doing this. We're going to get to talk.
That's why we're doing this. We're getting the juices going, the mogul talk going. I mean, not what the other competitors want to hear, but you could probably lock him in for Ruka. Any year that it hasn't been a duel, he has taken the top spot. So starting off, yeah, I think he's an easy one to pencil in.
He's pretty comfortable there. But Akuma, Mac, I mean, those guys are all like kind of nipping at his heels. I mean, Akuma, you don't have an Instagram, so you didn't see this.
Yeah.
But I know on Instagram he threw a ridiculous, what was it? It's like a cork 16. He landed switch.
Get out of here.
It was pretty sick. If you haven't seen it, go on social media, on Instagram, check Akuma out, because it was fucking sick.
Man.
Yeah. No, and you know that bottom air at Ruka is like pretty steep too.
It's kind of like an elevator drop for sure. Yeah.
Kind of, yeah, got a little bit of that Calgary to it.
Yeah, a bit of an elevator shaft style, but no, with some of those guys, I think someone like Kvet, I think he'd be safe to put a little bit of cash on him to do well this year. He was one of the athletes that I think would benefit from being open to some of the training opportunities that some of the European teams had this crazy off season. Kid works hard. I hope it pans out, and he's close to the top of the box, if not on the top of the box this season. But you got him. You got someone like Matty Graham. Then you got obviously Akuma. Akuma just stays on his feet, right? He's definitely got that death or glory type mentality. When it's good, it's glory. When it's bad, it's death. So,
and that's one of the interesting things. Like how much growth do you think he's had? Like, do you think he's ready for that kind of to be a little bit more consistent this year? And because he's, the talent is immense, and the talent is there. I mean, watching him ski at Gervais last year was fun to watch as a spectator. He's super dynamic, going big, skiing super aggressively. Definitely had shades of Yanni and then his coach, and it was super fun to watch.
No, when he's on, it's the most exciting show on snow for sure. But just when he just needs to be on more frequently, and I guess we'll find out. It's tough to bet on that. I think definitely you want that, but you got to see it first. Gotta seeing is believing, I guess, for me with Akuma, and you string a couple together, be like, all right, he's got the nerves under control, consistency under control, let it ride.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting. And the other one that he got hurt, I think, after Gervais was Walter.
Walter, yeah.
Because he kind of, I know he had a few. I think he got second or third. I think he got third at Ruka to start last season, and he had a few podiums kind of throughout the year, and then he still finished 7th on the tour, but he definitely didn't ski like the last couple events. So I'm curious to see how he comes out, because he's been super talented, and when he's had those moments, he's really been able to step up for sure. So I think that'll be kind of interesting. And then my boy Matty Graham there, I know when he's on
in the arena, former guest.
Yeah, exactly. When he's on, dude, it's super fun. And once again, we really only get one chance to get to see these guys every year, which is kind of unfortunate. You'll get to see a little bit of the highlights on that FIS will do, like a little 2-minute of just like the top 3. But it can be super hard to really be able to watch the full field and everything else. And that's what makes it rally so nice, because you can watch and you can see, okay, top to bottom, who's skiing well, who's training well, and that's such a tough course as well. It's hard to, if you can get down champion, and they've mellowed it out. It's not as it used to be. I mean, that thing used to have some serious teeth. Now it's like,
No, the top is definitely a little bit more mellower for sure, but still, it's still a marathon getting down that thing. But no, it'll be interesting to see all those guys ski, and but on the men's side as well, with and I'm interested to see the U.S. men. We have a lot of young talent, but they got a year skiing under their belt. They got some veteran leadership in Brad. Really excited to see kind of the results they put up this year, with maybe a little bit more experience and nerves calmed, and been to some of the places where the World Cups are going on, and just a little bit more familiarity. And I'm excited with them. Yeah, for sure, to see what results pop up from those young guys. And obviously
a lot of potential.
The vet and Brad. Yeah.
Well, Brad, you can already peg in Japan.
Like we said, Japan, sushi and podiums.
Could be a win, could be and then podium. Like, I think both days you can book Brad in, and he really, I think it's been fun, and having him on the podcast, it was really great to hear how much he's kind of grown and refound his passion for the sport, dealing with his anxiety and everything else. Like, I think he is really poised for a really good year. He finished the year on kind of a high note, a couple podiums there, and then I think he's also really embraced that older kind of leadership role, and kind of taken some of those younger kids under his wing. And a lot of those kids have always looked up to Brad, right? And how could you not? This guy goes out, skis great, skis with reckless abandon, and
right, to come back from
a good dude.
Yeah, to come back from some of the stuff he was dealing with last year, and have the success like you were mentioning towards the end of the season, just like that constant feeling. I'm sure he's got to be feeling he's playing with house money, like, oh yeah, like back at it, doing what he loves, and anything after that, it's just gravy. But it's nice too, he's embracing that role. I know early on, definitely in my team career, like a lot of the older guys were kind of either off doing their own thing, so there's never like that constant veteran presence leader around to be like, okay, like what's the routine at the ramps, what's the routine at these certain camps. But that, I think that's huge for those young guys to kind of to see, like, okay, like these are the routines, like this is what expected, like this is airport, this is this like event, like that's huge knowledge to bestow upon them, and excited.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think Alex Lewis, he got 4th, I think, the second day at that FIS Open, and he's skied really well, and he had a few moments last year. Same thing with Nick. I mean, I remember Nick at Deer Valley and home event, and when he made the final there, I mean, he's always got a smile on his face, but to see him there, I mean, you could tell just how much it meant to him. And I mean, I was one of, if not his first coach at the water ramps when he was 7 years old, with his little learning how to do front flips and holding on to his little vest as we climbed out on the single. And it's just crazy. I mean, he's always got a smile on his face, but you could tell at Deer Valley, it was like to be up there with the crowd and everything else, and those experiences, it's only going to help you.
For sure. No, absolutely. Totally agree.
And we got to touch on, Wendler for sure. He's been skiing super, super well, and I know he's been training well, and it's good. I really love how he's got that steamboat style, that kind of artistic stroke of the brush, good absorption of tension, dynamic work with the lower body, quiet upper body. I know he's been working on a bunch of different stuff, and he's a hard worker. And then you got the Andringa boys. Casey's kind of a dark horse because if he comes back and he's healthy or not, he's always very dynamic and
he's a competitor.
He's an awesome
fierce competitor. Yeah.
Competitor. And same thing with Jesse. So I think, those Andringa boys are always holding down the fort. So it's going to be interesting to see how that.
And hopefully they get back, or we know Jesse's out there. Casey gets back soon, and they push each other as well. They feed off one another and have fun. And hopefully he's back on the slope soon, so we could see some of that magic happen.
A gnarly wrist injury. He kind of.
Yeah, the story. I haven't seen, being off the social media world in Instagram. I haven't seen much, but did hear the stories and did not sound too pleasant.
Yeah, no, it was a little brutal, but yeah, it'll come back. Yeah,
it will. It will.
Well, I think also kind of going in. Who am I thinking of? Dylan Walzak.
Dilby.
It's another.
Oh, Dilby.
Out there that kind of. Has podium before and has kind of been there, done that. I know he's Alex de Bonneville's kind of coaching him, and
yeah, his bud's out there helping him out.
So I'm kind of curious. He's been around the tour and he can show. He's got the potential, kind of depending on the courses, and that's always like one of the things that makes this year so interesting is what events they're going to have and what those courses play to certain athletes. Because like we touched on with Brad, he'll ski great in Japan, or Dylan will ski great at Deer Valley or different spots. It kind of just depends. And I think that makes it so unique on who's going to win the tour or who's going to be able to put up those consistent things when you got 2 or 3 events, a bunch of events that might get canceled.
Yeah.
Hope not, but it's like, is this a 3-event World Cup tour and then World Championships? I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
It's definitely not. I think what kind of goes in their favor and everyone's favor that it's such a crazy year, but hopefully there is some normalcy and consistency in some of the places they're going. A lot of the places I think everything with the exception of Secret Garden is somewhere that they've competed before. They have a little bit of skin in the game there, so they know their routine, what bodes well, what doesn't bode well, and hopefully that brings a little sense of normalcy to this crazy season we're about to embark on.
How much do you think that helps, that kind of normalcy and that?
I don't know. I'm definitely more of a worrywart for sure. So given the current world situation, it is nice knowing like, okay, I know I'm going to Ruka. I know where the grocery store is. I know where I might be staying. I know the travel. I know just all the little things to set your routine instead of going somewhere new. Like, okay, like, well, where is the nearest grocery store? If there's not a grocery store, what am I going to do for food? Like, how crowded is it going to be? What is that country's COVID rules? Like, what are the cases like? And obviously all those things, it's a very fluid situation with every country with that right now. But just knowing like, okay, like, what this hotel like has always been clean, always clean sheets, clean bed. Like I have enough room in my personal space to spread out. Like I think stuff like that certainly helps to calm those nerves and to get you in the right peace of mind for waking up and competing the next day. Yeah, I mean,
it's amazing how much that routine definitely helps. And being in those
all, yeah.
No, I mean, it definitely goes a long way. That's for
all mogul skiers are like starting pitchers, right? Like we have our weird routines, weird superstitions. So anything to keep things on normal playing field. Like, granted, is it fun to obviously explore the world and go to new places? Obviously, but even that's a little bit different nowadays with the rules where you can and can't go. So wait till next year to go to new places and new cities and new experiences.
Hopefully.
Yes. Create the memories. Create the memories at the same good old places now, but get out there and explore when it's a little bit safer next year.
Yeah, I hope that it ends up working out that way for sure.
Yeah.
So another thing I want to touch on and kind of go into is just some more of those men. We touched on the U.S. a little bit, went a little bit into Australia. I think that they've been doing a great job. I mean, they have one of the best staffs with Kate and Pete, and Desevich obviously is the man. I remember Mogul Logic in like 2000. No, it was actually World Mogul. with Cooper Shell, and I was so pumped that Desevich was. And it was sick. It was a sick day. Yeah, I learned a lot. But he's really with the help of Dale Bagg, and they just have such a great system, kind of going down there, and you can see all the hard work day in, day out. Brody coming back and being nice and healthy, and kind of coming back from injury, and then Jimmy, old Jim Matheson there, and he's actually got his own podcast that.
Right on.
It is. I have it down somewhere. It is the Athlete Collective. So you guys want to listen in.
There you go. Quick plug. The Athlete Collective.
Yeah, Athlete Collective for Jimmy Matheson.
#, no free ads. Okay, we want some swag from the Athlete Collective.
Plenty of kickbacks. So I know he started that down there, and Cooper and that whole crew, I think, is ready to have. They're gonna be interesting.
No, they definitely benefited from having a lot of the resources you need to train kind of right at their fingertips with the Tapa's Dream. They were able to pull that off, which is awesome. Great support from the mountain down there, and then their new water ramp facility and all those guys. What Desevich certainly bestows in both all those guys and girls is just the work ethic. Everyone down there nose down, gets it done. So hopefully they have a awesome season as well. But even in terms of other kind of hardworking young men's team, the Sweet, we talked a little bit about Walter, but they had some all those Swedes up there. Like they have a deep young deep team as well, with good leadership of Lasse and Harold, and it'd be interesting to see what results pop up from them as well. And with the Japanese team, we touched a little bit with Akuma, but the women's team is stacked. I remember going back to Junior Worlds in 2018. That women's team was definitely an eye opener. Watch out, they're coming.
Yeah, no, and they some of the stream that I was watching, you could just see that they have a big group, and there's a lot of talent and fun to watch.
Well coached, yeah.
They're definitely well coached, and they're able to bring everything together. They'll be making some noise. I think last year Japan they were third in the Nations Cup, so kind of moving on.
Yeah, they're creeping back up there. Yeah,
inconsistency with that too, right? Like you bring up some of that consistency, and that'll definitely change some things. And then
for sure,
touching on the Swedes there, you had Ludwig won one of the day. I think the last Sunday. I think it was.
I think he was in like top 5 one day.
I think top 5, and then he won. I think the second day. So. And then you got France, with not only Cavett, but those boys are deep on both,
Yeah.
Really Martin, I think it's Sure.
Right. Where did
Murphy said he skis fast. Skis fast. He's a fast.
Martin, no. Yeah. Guy won by a full point. J1 over there. Crushed it. Yeah. Excited to hopefully wake up early enough to watch him ski this coming weekend.
Yeah, it'll be it's definitely gonna be interesting to see. And then another like kind of dark horse, or just been talked about a lot, but he's been around forever, is Dimitri.
And Kolmakov was in there making finals the other day. Those are talk about veteran leadership and old dogs getting it done. We'll see. That'll be that'd be pretty cool.
It's one thing that's we touched on the last one, is just how much the wins have changed the dynamic, because I think it was back in 2003 or 2004 they used to have 2 separate tours. They had a singles tour and a duals tour, so you'd have a singles World Cup champion and you'd have a duals World Cup champion, and also the scoring for each win was so much different. So a win was like 100 points, a second was like 96, a third was 92. So you really didn't get rewarded as much, and that kept a lot of those World Cup tours so much tighter, and made it, pretty compelling to. I mean, you really had to be consistent, and you really had to be kind of go in day in and day out. Where now there's such a big gap, and winning is rewarded so much more. Which, I mean, obviously winning should be rewarded, but it's interesting the fact that it's 100 points. Seconds like 80, and then third 60, and it kind of drops off.
Yeah,
where if
you could be,
you make some serious noise.
Yeah, you could be halfway through the season. You're like, oh well, we can see how this might end up, but at least on the men's side. But kind of that it's taken away a little bit, but would be interesting if they went back to that, how close together both sides would be.
I feel like it would make it a little bit more
more of a dogfight.
Sure. A little bit more
Yeah.
of a dogfight, and if you kind of slip up one day or whatever, that could
put the pressure maybe on Mick a little bit more and
bit more of the
see.
pressure.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't know how much it changed.
Well, that guy still finds a gear.
He's able to find a gear, but not only Mick, some of those other Canadian boys. Laurent Dumais, he finished I think 7th on the tour last year. No, 6th. So he was 6th on the tour. So he had a really good year. Brendan Kelly there, and some of those other guys will be interesting to see. Gab Dufresne, and then who am I drawing a blank on?
Wait for it.
Elliot.
Yeah. Valancourt. Yeah.
I think he won the Northern Tour. I'm pretty sure last year kind of ran away with it. I think it was the first.
Was it only last year?
Yeah, I think it was.
Okay.
First time in a while the Canadians, maybe ever, have swept the NORAM Tour.
Yeah.
2-3. So
I can't. Yeah, it's been a minute. I can't think of in my almost middle-aged life. I can't think of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I doesn't come to mind for me either. So I think that's super interesting, and we'll see. I mean, I don't know that there's even going to be a NORAM.
Yeah,
it's
right. They have Canada, which we kind of touched on that a little bit. That's a toss-up, and then they have Deer Valley, which if it's allowed, goes into the question like, well, should we be pursuing? And then they have one on the schedule in Waterville because. The rules back east are so strict, but New Hampshire seems to be the East Coast, the Northeast, the most laxed of it. So just throwing paint at the wall, hoping it'll stick, and
it'll be I don't know how they're gonna be able to kind of make that same thing. I mean, I know it was nice they pushed selections back to January 27th or like end of January, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that I think is really nice.
Awesome, yeah.
It allows you to get some training, allows you to kind of not be so stressed going in. But I don't know how they're going to be able to do NORAM Tour. So it'll be
not only athletes training, but just from a mountain perspective. Was able to get out today for day one of skiing up at Snowbird, and other than what is man-made, it's pretty bare up there. So I think just training opportunities stateside, and most likely in Canada as well. The opportunities are just a little limited. Mountains are trying to get terrain open for the general public. So just even if you're not on snow right now or jumping right now, gives even a little bit more time to get a jump going, get a full course going, get some training going, which will only benefit the athletes and thus benefit the level of competition we have at that selections event.
Yeah, no, for sure. Be good to see how it all unfolds. So let's go. Let's do. You want to do picks for the men? I know Murphy. I had his picks for guys. Where did he go? He went with Kingsbury. Shocker. And
Shocker.
He went Akuma and then Matt and Cavett. So Kingsbury first, Akuma second, Matt third, Cavett and fourth. Those are his top four on there.
Well, I can't pick on him too much for picking Mick, because that's what I'm going to go with. Go Mick 1. I think Ben's going to have his year 2. Then 3, 4 is a toss-up, but I'll go Kuma 3 and Matt 4. Okay. Yeah, but that's tough. That third, fourth, it's tough. I mean, you could have Walter slide up in there. You could have Ludwig slide up in there. Brad slide up in there. Like, it's toss, but I will go, Mick, Ben, Akuma, Matt.
And then you got to go. I feel like you guys
5th? Okay. Oh boy.
In the because we didn't get to the rest, but
I'll go Walter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go
Walter.
I like it. Yeah. I got. I'm gonna go with Mick, taking it home, and then I think Matty Graham is gonna have a good year. I think he's gonna be finishing second, and I think third is gonna be Akuma. I think Akuma will be in third. It's tough because if that's the one I kind of, that's going to be tight with him and Cavett. I think it will be Cavett. So that's a tough, right in there. That's a really hard one to pick. If he's more consistent, I mean, he could give Mick a run. but I don't know
Sure.
if Akuma's gonna be able to do that. So I'll go Akuma. I'd say
Hell of a season if he does.
and then I will go Kvet, and I think Dimitri's gonna be 5th.
Ooh.
Hard's gonna be 5th. So
Right on, the old dog.
he sticks around, man.
89. Is there anyone else in there with an 89 BD? I don't think so. When he came on like late 2000s.
It wasn't even, it was like 2007 was like 2007, 2008, whenever Bryan Wilson won Junior Worlds, JBK was 2nd, and then Joe was, I think, 3rd, and Jimmy was 4th. But Jimmy should have been 3rd. They scored Joe's bottom air wrong or something. They scored it as like a 10, and he did like a
those bastards.
He gives his brother a bunch of shit for it.
Yeah.
And then, no, Jimmy, I think, lost to Dimitri in duels. I think Dimitri ended up winning. Then that was the first. Was like, oh, this guy from Kazakhstan. Where's this coming from? And then,
yeah, they ski there, right? They were pretty ignorant back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, since '89, the oldest competitor in the on the start list the other week. But be a hell of a story. It'd be way cool if he did.
He knows all the spots, right? He knows
it. That is true.
Right? He knows all those.
He knows his routine.
Yeah, definitely.
It's tough as nails.
So then we got to go in and we got the men out of the way. We got to talk about some of the ladies for sure and some of their the skiing there this year. I mean, Perrine obviously had a great season last year.
Mm-hmm.
She's definitely been on a tear, and it kind of speaks to that whole French team with Grawl as well there, skiing super well. And then not only from France, also kind of going into Kazakhstan as well. You know, Yulia Galasheva and that team, and that's Swedish Open. There was another girl, I think, who finished like 4th or 3rd or 4th in there, kind of around the Americans from Kazakhstan. I can't remember her name, but she had a little decent.
Anastasia Gorduko.
There you go.
We'll go with that.
Yep, we'll go with that. But yeah, it's going to be super interesting to kind of see how that all plays out. And then the U.S. girls, I think, are coming on with a vengeance. With all of them, you know, the lovely lady, of course, has been training well, skiing hard, and Jalen, Tess, they all have that experience. Hannah as well. You know, it's going to be interesting when Olivia kind of gets back and healthy. And then you got Morgan. I mean, she's a savage when she's healthy and when she's feeling good. I mean, she always competes well. She's a great competitor. She kind of brings that. And once she's back and she's healthy, I mean, I think she'll definitely make some waves there. You got your hog girls over there. You know, I mean, I guess they're all your athletes. You know, you coached all of them, but a lot of love there with some of those Wasatch kids for sure as well. So,
no, yeah, those any day, like that whole U.S. women's team, they were number 1 in the world last year. That whole team could all make finals in any given day, and that would be a stacked final. What's that? Potentially 8 women in finals on any given day. Like that's definitely in the cards for that team. They're super strong, any one of them. Tess had a great showing a couple days ago, or two weekends ago now. Obviously Jane and Lynn as well. Sabrina stepping it up. Casey stepping up. Might be her first international competition overseas. Don't you can check me on that, but I think so. Yeah, and then obviously Hannah had a breakout season last year, and like you said, when Morgan puts skis on, steps in the gate, she's a badass chick to be reckoned with, and total gamer. That I'm super excited to see what the ladies do this year.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. They'll definitely have some competition from the Canadian side. You know, you got
can't count her out.
Yep, and yeah, she skis. She's a great competitor. You know, it was really interesting last year at I think it was Deer Valley. Just talking to Hannah Kearney about just, you know, one of the great compliments she was giving Justine is just, you know, how those big moments, she's great. You know, she'll pull it all together, and absolutely a great competitor. And then you'll have Berkeley Brown kind of back healthy. So I'm curious because she obviously had a really good end to her year when she won the NORAM Tour and stuff like that. So I'm kind of curious how I think she skied a couple events last. I don't think she did a full season last year.
I'm not sure, but I will take your word for it. As you fact checked.
Yeah, we'll take the word for it. We'll go with that. And then, one we can't kind of skip over is back to those Australians. You got Jakara,
Yep.
who had a great year last year, finished in second. You got Britt Cox, who's won a Globe before and great competitor. And they have a great system and great pipeline going there. So I'm really interested to see kind of who's coming up next. They always have kind of multiple ladies there that Taylor will be back healthy. I think she's coming back from her knee injury, and then is Matty?
No, I'm not quite sure, but no, like you were alluding to, a little bit of a smaller pocket there, but still a strong pocket of girls coming out of Australia for sure. Yeah. They show up on game day, and then we alluded to a little bit earlier with the Japanese team, that young squad they got there.
Yeah, Yanni's really got that rolling there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So. Mm-hmm. Let's go. I'm not going to make any picks on that on the end of it because I got skin in the game.
Oh.
I'm feeling.
See how it is.
But I'll go.
You don't want to get the ear barked off. I'm kidding. No.
I'm going to refrain, but I will go. I know Murphy. He had Perrine, and then for him, he was like after that. Tess, Jakara, Jalen, Yulia. He kind of, he didn't go distinct number 2 in there. I mean, he was kind of just bouncing around on all those different names, and just because it is going to be very competitive once you kind of get up in there into the top. So I will let you take it away with your top 5 there.
I think not too far off from Murph. I like Perrine still taking the top spot in the box. She's got that run dialed in right now. Very highly competitive, high DD run. Then after that, I think Tess gonna have a big year. I got Tess 2, Jakara 3, and then I'd go Jaybird 4. But I mean, like, there's that's kind of like with the men, that 4-5 could really be anyone, especially that 5 spot. Yeah, Hanu had a great year last year. Avatal is coming back from injury, but when her skis are out of the gate, like, huge gamer. Won't take long to be back towards the top of the results sheet soon. You got the Casey. You got, I mean, you look at this. Yeah, you look at a result sheet and it bounces. It bounces every day, and they're all super close. But I think what might come in play is a little bit of kind of, we talked about that reliance of falling back to being there before, being at a venue before, just a little bit more comfort of like, oh, okay, I've been here before. I know this course. I know where this treble section is, this type of pitch here. Like, okay, I think that will certainly not only play for the women's benefit, but all the athletes benefit.
Yeah, it's definitely nice, as we touched on a little earlier, to kind of have that comfort for sure.
Yeah.
And then last thing to kind of touch on here is that Nations Cup. It'll be interesting to see. Last year, Canada won, France 2, Japan 3, USA 4, Australia 5th. So I'm kind of curious.
Like I was saying with you and Murph, this is the year. This is the year. This is the year. We claim it. We take it back. Yeah, I think I was saying a little bit earlier, all those young guys on the US side have a little bit more experience. So I think they'll pop off some results along with some veteran leadership there. And the girls team's number 1 in the world last year. I don't think that's going to change. So I think with a strong girls team and the boys tighten it up a little bit, I think we'll definitely challenge that top spot. On the Canadian side, a couple top dogs, but after that, I think it falls away a little bit more so on their side than it does on the US side. And then France and Japan. Japan, the strength in numbers though as well. France a little bit smaller strength in numbers, but as we also talked about a little bit earlier, those top spots definitely come with coveted points, but I think we'll have a lot more players towards the top spots and challenge that number 1 spot.
Get that Nations Cup back.
Yeah.
Get that Nations Cup back. Yeah, it's going to be, I mean, last year's points, Canada was in first with 2008, France 1731, Japan 1670, USA 1359, Australia 1278. I mean, I think it'll be pretty interesting to see how that goes around. I think we are going to move back up. I think we will. I think we'll reclaim it. I'm feeling good about it.
Heck yeah, joined the train. Convinced you.
I think Nick and those boys, Brad, and some of that leadership. I think that they're hoping on that growth and hoping on them kind of being a little bit more mature. And the ladies' side's super deep, so I think if you get some more consistency on that men's side and some people make it to more finals and stuff like that, I think it'll certainly translate to moving on up. I think Canada will finish second. I'm gonna go Japan in third because I think those ladies.
I think that's.
I'll go France fourth and Australia fifth. So
solid.
That's kind of
solid.
That's where I'm leaning there. And then kind of last for those folks out there, if you have any interest in trying to catch it, it has been very difficult. And that's what makes mogul skiing so difficult. And you really have to love it, is trying to figure out how you can watch it. FIS just had like a bunch of like, hey, these TV schedules for the different nations.
It's crazy over in Europe. It is like way more accessible. I remember touring around a little bit and being in Belgium and just turning on like Eurosport, and you're like, wait a minute, like they don't even have a mogul skiing team and it's on TV right now. Like there's something totally wrong with this picture.
Yeah. So December 5th, Olympic Channel, U.S. Olympic Channel, 2 p.m. Eastern. It'll be on. It is going to be delayed. Obviously, that'll be delayed, but that's the only in the U.S. I don't think there's any way to live stream. I've kind of looked for it. I haven't been able to find anything, but you'll be able to see the tape delay.
I'm sure Guy will come out with something.
Hopefully
yeah,
be able to come out. Guy will have something up, and then it will be Saturday, 10 to 11 p.m. Eurosport 2. So that sounds like it'll be maybe a little bit tape delayed, or I don't know what time that's going to.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what Europe time zone they're going with. They usually feel like finals go like 8 to 9 or 9 to 10. I want to say 8 to 9, or maybe even 7 to 8, but sounds like it's a little bit delayed.
And if you're watching in Canada, it's going to be CBC streaming. We'll have the live stream at 7 a.m. So CBC streaming sports will have that, and then CBC TV is doing a 3 p.m. tape delay as well, Eastern time, and then they're also doing a Saturday night, essentially midnight. I guess that's technically Sunday encore if you just haven't gotten enough of that.
Who do you got this weekend, Bob? Who do you got it kicking off?
Who do I got kicking? Well, it's hard to go against Mick,
Yeah.
Hard to go against Mick. He's won there, especially as it's been a singles event. He's won it the last like 3 or 4 years, so I'm gonna stick with Mick. Akuma looked pretty comfortable. Like I'm saying, dude, you got to watch that video of him doing the
cork 16. Jesus, get him in the pack.
Well, as Murphy said, there's that video of him doing the backflip to the rail, which is pretty dope too.
Yeah, making Dave Babick really proud. Landing switch.
No, it's good. And Marty Odlum. Well, Marty would do the
switch. Yeah, same with Dave, I guess Dave might have done both. Can't remember.
So I think Mick's gonna win. Peg that in there. I think that Akuma, I'm gonna say, is probably second, and I'm gonna go with Walter actually in third. I think he podiumed there last year, so I think I will go, and then probably Matty Graham fourth, and I'll go with Cavett fifth.
Round out top 5. Well, you might as well give us one more for super finals.
Super final.
Come on.
Dimitri. I'll go with Dimitri.
There you go.
Yeah. That'll be the pick there. And for you, sir.
Not go with Mick. Go with Mick 1, Cavett 2. Go bumping Brad Wilson 3.
Ooh, nice.
Akuma 4, Matt 5, Ludwig 6.
Ludwig, that's a good pick. He's riding hot. He just won the last event.
Yeah.
Riding hot coming in.
Yeah. What about on ladies?
I'm not going to make any picks on the women's side. I'll let you take.
Okay, ladies. I'll go Perrine 1. I know, boring. Meg Perrine, boring. Jaber 2, Jalen 2, Tess 3. Then it's just to roll the dice. Cara 4, Justine 5, and Hannah Soar 6.
6. All right. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, thank you.
We'll see.
For taking the time. We'll have to reconvene.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We'll have to, or after Eider Fall, yeah, do a Euro World Cup recap.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you.
Fun talking shop as always.
Talk a little shop. All right. Well,
yeah.
There is your World Cup season preview, folks, from Moguls. And we appreciate everybody taking the time and buckle up. Should be
go get them, everyone.
Yeah.
Stay healthy.
All right. Bye.
Stay safe.
Yep. Later.
Hey, everybody. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that little bell button so you get notified every time a new episode drops. Thanks.